you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to specifically talk about Amber from the TV show Invincible, specifically the TV show because I've never read the comic, but I also know Amber's characterization is a little different in the TV show than it is in the comic. Obviously, this is going to stem mainly for a conversation about Amber in season 1, but it also relates to season 2 because I've seen some people kind of like, okay, Amber's not as bad this season as she was last season. Other people, that's still not 100% the case. Like, it's specifically episode 7 of last season that really kind of pissed a lot of people off when it came to Amber. And I've talked about this recently. I don't quite remember my thoughts at the time, but I think I was a lot more understanding of I saw both sides. Most people are just kind of like, oh, Amber sucks for her opinion, but I kind of want to break that down of like, yes, I know I'm in the minority. I've heard a few people have the same mentality, share the same opinion I do, who are more like understanding of Amber, but most people on the internet were like, nah, Amber sucks. I feel like so many people took a lot of what Amber said in that moment when she was arguing with Mark about the whole thing of, oh, Amber wants you to pick her. Oh, being in a relationship with me is more important than saving people. It's like, she never said that. I mean, not unless I'm mistaken, but to my recollection, she never said that. Her argument was just, you lied to me. And it's like, yes, it's a secret identity thing, sure, but it is just a thing of she was hurt. She felt betrayed because it's like, hey, here's a big part of your life you're not opening up to me. Like, any part of any relationship is about communication. It's about being open with each other. And here's this big secret you've been keeping. Yes, like Amber and him like started a thing in episode 3, but you also don't know how much time passed. Like, it's been, I think in general, it was like a couple months in between like episode 3 and like episode 7 when they kind of broke up. And I know a lot of people had an issue with that, but I'm also, like I said, my perspective from it is Amber was a lot more open with Mark because she was like, hey, I do this volunteer work I want you to be a part of. I also want you to have dinner with my mom. Meeting the parent is a very big step in any relationship. Like, oh, this is getting pretty serious when we're meeting a family. And the fact of the matter is Mark would always come up with excuses. Yes, for a while she didn't know what it was. And she's known, she says in episode 7, she's known for a couple weeks. And like a lot of people make it seem like that's kind of a bad thing of like, she's once again trying to make it seem like, hey, Mark, you shouldn't, you should choose being with me over saving people. That was never the issue, because especially there's a line in season 3 where she's like, hey, no, you go do what you do. I'm never going to get in the way of you saving people. I don't ever feel like she was written in a way where she was like, no, you have to be with me. It's an ultimatum. Choose to be with me or not. You being with me is more important than saving people. I feel like some people brought that to that, and I never interpreted it that way. It's just, hey, I'm being open and honest with you. I gave you time. I gave you time to tell me the truth and you decided not to. The fact of the matter is, it hurts me because it's like, right, we are supposed to be serious. It is a thing of you're serious with someone and you didn't tell them the truth about you. That there's still a part of you you're holding back. You know, that's why I feel like I just don't agree with all the Amber. I can understand people's like, she didn't handle it the best way, but I also make the argument she handled it the best way she could, considering they're not adults, they're teenagers. Like, teenagers aren't always going to handle things the best way either. So I think considering their circumstances, I think she handled it the best way, because I think it is a situation of Mark also didn't handle the situation the best way. Eva was like, if you're serious about you better only tell her if you're serious about her. And I think that's also the thing for you feel a little insecure where it's like, do I not matter to you? Yes, I know this thing and I don't want to confront you about it. I want you to feel comfortable enough to tell me, because that means like, hey, you know, it's like, right, there's a limit to how much you could take of someone keeping a secret when you're like, okay, I know you're lying to me. Okay, I'm gonna give you time, and then weeks go by because she says she's known for weeks, and it's like, you still haven't told me. There's plenty of opportunities for you to tell me, because I think that kind of speaks a larger volume of like why you didn't tell her. Like, I think at the time Mark didn't even really know why he didn't tell her, but there's something deeper there. So, like I said, there's plenty of examples of this particular type of storyline when it comes to this whole superhero situation. This is going to be spoilers, so I'm just going to jump into it to talk about it. The other example I'm thinking of is Lois from My Adventures with Superman. In a very similar circumstance of, hey, I figured out you're Superman, Clark. I'm waiting for you to tell me the truth. You kind of lied to me. And some people are like, oh, you're crazy to do what she did. I mean, to be fair, it's Lois. You're also talking about a show that's very anime inspired. Anime, it's going to be like to the up degree of like when it comes to emotion. emotions. Like, obviously, like, anime is extreme. We're already talking about a fictional world in the DC universe, so things are going to be a lot more exaggerated. Two, the fact of the matter is it's got this very anime aesthetic and approach, which anime is even more exaggerated. So, like, people to kind of, like, go as wild as they did were just like, oh, Lois is crazy. Like, I think, also, it's also part of Lois Lane's personality to kind of wild out and take some risk and do some really wild stuff, because there is that part of herself that has to, we also find out there's underlying trust issues she has with people, because she does not do well with people lying to her. So, I kind of got that context a little bit at the time too. Because the previous episode, when she found out, she had previously had a conversation with Clark about her dad not telling her stuff and how that kind of affected her. So obviously, when someone that she really likes and cares for is lying to her, there's a lot of baggage there that she was dealing with. Once again, did Lois handle it in the best situation? No, but I'm also a little bit more understanding in that regard, because it's like, hey, like, I know I'm right. I know this is who you are, and you're still lying to me. I mean, to be fair, Clark was willing, very much in the same case as Mark. It's not as, like, Mark, there was multiple times he kind of wanted to tell Amber the truth to some extent. At least Clark, you do see, like, that previous episode, he wanted to tell her. But he also felt conflicted about how she felt about Superman at the time. And it's that thing of just, like, right, he didn't realize how, he doesn't know enough about her to know, like, okay, there was, like, a lot of underlying trust issues she has because of her dad, like, keeping so many secrets from her and stuff like that, being both just a military guy he was, but also stuff related to her mom being sick. So there's a lot of deep-seated trust issues in that regard. Also, Lois wasn't thinking about Clark's position of, like, the way you talked about Superman. It's like, well, yeah, I talked about Superman that way because I didn't know. But she even said, like, Clark, I can't trust Superman, but you would do good and only do good because that's who you are. She knew at the time, like, it is people not wanting to be hurt. In some people's minds, I might be making a lot more gymnastic leaps than some people. Like, oh, that's kind of a stretch. I don't think it is, but that's just my viewpoint on it. Not saying everyone agrees. In fact, like I brought up before, I know I'm in the minority on this opinion. More so in the case of Amber, probably not as much in the case of Lois, but like I said, those are two examples that kind of get crossed over in the parallels of a lot of people are like, this is how you don't react type of situation. So it kind of made a lot of people pissed at Amber and also Lois in this particular regard. I mean, staying on the Lois Lane situation in Smallville, because Lois found out about Clark in season 9, I believe. At the end of season 9, she found out about Clark being the Blur, having these powers and stuff. And then, like, a lot of season 10, she kept quiet about it. She would, like, kind of dance around and be like, oh man, something's happening. Let me not be around so that Clark can use his powers so he doesn't have to feel the need to cover up around me. She was giving him a lot of leeway because she wanted him to feel comfortable. It's like, this is his secret. I want him to feel comfortable enough to tell me the truth. I mean, if you want to get deeper into it, you could also make the argument, it's like, well, when you know something and you're not, I mean, it's a different situation. It's like, if they're lying for a bad reason and you're kind of holding on to it, you want them to come to you, that's one thing. But it's like, this is a good-natured thing of, like, this is something that's so tied secretly to you that you're kind of afraid to tell someone, and you being comfortable enough to tell me yourself, that speaks volumes of, like, okay, what we have is real and it matters. So I'm like, there's multiple ways you can look at it. I'm looking at it more optimistically, but I feel like there is a way you could look at it more pessimistically. So, but like I said, these are just my thoughts. Love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below, using the two examples I use of Lois and Amber, or any other examples that you might be familiar with in fiction that kind of fall in the same category. Let me know your thoughts. Do you still feel the same way about Amber if you are currently caught up with Invincible in season 2? I mean, once again, I won't do a direct comparison with the comic, like I said, because I know it's different. And then the same thing of Lois, if you've seen My Adventures with Superman, do you put the two of them in the same category? Do you not? Are you like anti-Amber but you're pro-Lois? Are you very anti both of them? Love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good